Week 6? Yes, it is. It's week 6. While it may be hard to believe, we made it to the final week of the 2020 regular football season here in the state of Ohio. While there have been a few hiccups along the way, teams will be playing meaningful games in their final prep for the playoffs. What games made our final games to watch? Stay tuned and find out. We want to thank First Star Logistics for their support of First Star Football Report. If you're looking for a new career, be sure to learn more about First Star Logistics as they are hiring. Also, before we get started, please do us a favor, hit the subscribe button so we can continue growing our channel. We'll look at 6 games in this final week of the regular season. Each game has one, if not both teams, looking for a championship. We'll start Thursday night as First Star Football Report will be at Centerville High School as Chaminade-Julienne visits Alter. Chaminade-Julienne has seen some struggles this season, but when they play Alter, forget the records. Last season, the Knights and Eagles played in back-to-back weeks, with the Knights coming out on top in each. Chaminade-Julienne has struggled on offense, even though junior quarterback Luke Chandler has an excellent completion percentage. This season, Chandler has thrown for 728 yards, but only 4 touchdowns, and unfortunately with 5 interceptions. The Eagles have also performed poorly running the ball with only 350 yards this season. A bright spot has been junior Kenyon Owens, who has scored on offense with 2 rushing touchdowns and on special teams with a punt return and 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Senior linebacker David Frederick Jr. leads the defense in tackles, and sophomore defensive lineman Nesta Owens is a player we look forward to watching. Senior defensive back Jason Ward has been solid, but he'll need to have a big game if the Eagles expect to upset the Knights. The Knights started with 2 hard-fought games against Clinton Massey and Badin. Both games saw the Knights capable of winning, and both teams have remained undefeated since they played the Knights this season. But in the past 3 weeks, the Knights have found their stride, reeling off 3 wins with their offense hitting full stride and the defense shutting things down. Senior quarterback Brian Shane has settled into the starting role, and running back Brandon McDonald could have a big game against an Eagles defense that struggles to stop the run. The Knights throw when they need to, and senior receiver Patrick Connor has been the main target with 223 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. The defense has been the team's strength, and under-the-radar recruit James Keithley Jr. is the leader with 42 stops. All eyes are on 2022 Ohio State pledge C.J. Hicks, who's shown flashes this season, but he's done that at his more natural position at linebacker. The Knights hope to claim a share of the GCL co-ed title, but need help from McNicholas, who plays Badin on Saturday. Our second game finds Turpin at Wilton Woods. In the Eastern Cincinnati Conference, Wilton Woods, Turpin, and Kings are looking to remain unbeaten. Out of the 3, only Wilton Woods has played all 5 weeks. Both teams are strong on offense and defense, with the Spartans having a slight edge in points per game and points given up per game. Junior quarterback Will Schlock has given Turpin a potent passing attack, hitting over 67% of his throws with 16 touchdowns and an impressive 1 interception. Seniors Logan Hurley and Max Gundrum have combined for 781 yards and 12 touchdowns, while senior Caden Naughton has 420 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. For Wilton Woods, senior quarterback Michael Wingfield has proven a dual threat with 6 touchdowns passing and 4 rushing. Junior Tyreek Spikes has been dynamic with 461 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns, while also adding 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns. But it's the defense both teams put on the field that makes the difference. Turpin gives up 164 yards a game and just over 12 points, while Wilton Woods is right behind them with 191 yards and 12 points. The Spartans get pressure from Will Myris and Will Guy, who have combined for 6 sacks, with Ryan McDowell posting 3 interceptions. In comparison, Wilton Woods has Maryland pledge Andrew Bam Booker, who's been dominating, and Tamarian Crumpley, one of the top players still on the board, who leads the way for the Warriors defense. Our third game is Wayne at Northmont. A Northmont win and the Thunderbolts win the Greater Western Ohio Conference outright. A Wayne win and a 3-way tie along with Springfield, who plays winless Beaver Creek, is what will happen. Northmont has proven to be the Cardiac Kids this season with 3 wins in exciting fashion, including back-to-back overtime wins over Springfield and Miamisburg. Wayne suffered a 7-point loss to Springfield in Week 1, but is currently on a 4-game winning streak. Both teams are the top of the conference in offense, with the Warriors averaging 423 yards a game and 35 points. Northmont is averaging 373 yards a game and 36 points. The Warriors are led by senior quarterback Cam Fancher, who is beating teams with his arm and legs. Thunderbolts senior quarterback Cade Rice has made his game more of a pocket passer with 1,181 yards and 15 touchdowns this season. Both teams are loaded with standouts on offense, with Wayne having several 2022 and 2023 prospects that are high-level recruits. Northmont has Michigan pledge Rod Moore, who started playing both ways a few weeks ago and has immediately impacted the offense with 5 touchdowns. Top uncommitted wide receiver Marcus Allen joins him with 435 yards and 6 touchdowns. Both teams are close to each other defensively, making this game one that could also go down to the final seconds.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Our fourth game is McNicholas at Badin. We've already talked about how Alter could be watching this game looking for McNicholas to knock off Badin, making for a 3-way tie at the top of the league. But can anyone beat Badin? McNicholas is getting solid play at quarterback from Clay Badilak, who has passed for 606 yards and 3 touchdowns, while also rushing for 223 yards and 2 scores this season. He's joined by White Gear and Tyler Snyder, who have combined for 535 yards and 10 touchdowns this season. But Badin has their own big 3 to call upon in quarterback Landon Vitoric and the receiving duo of Lucas Moore and Braden Moore. Both teams play solid defense, with a possible slight advantage going to Badin, with league sack leader Jaden Carter. Our fifth game is Greenan at Greenview. In the Ohio Heritage Conference South Division, Greenan will travel to Greenview as both teams are 4-0 in conference play. Now, full disclosure, I'm a 1983 graduate of Greenview, so I might have a little bias in this game. But many have wondered what would happen at Greenan with the departure of quarterback Cade Rice, who moved to Northmont. He was so valuable in their offense the last few seasons, both throwing and running the ball. But senior Evan Davis, he stepped in and been solid throwing the ball for 842 yards and 8 touchdowns with an impressive 1 interception. While Davis is not the threat to run, Trevor Stewart and Cameron Cox have combined for 702 yards and 9 touchdowns rushing. The main receiving target is Bass Moore, 19 receptions, 328 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Greenview is getting solid play from sophomore quarterback Cole DeHaven, who has passed for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. But the Rams are a running team with seniors Jaden DeHaven and Dakota Mangan, having combined for 903 yards and 13 touchdowns. On defense, Greenan has rebounded after a terrible performance in Week 1 against Mechanicsburg and has posted 3 shutouts over the last 4 weeks. Zach Stevens has a team-leading 47 tackles, with 4.5 sacks, while Aaron Carrig has 3 interceptions, including one he returned for a touchdown. Greenview has 1 shutout this season, but in the last 4 weeks, they've been stingy giving up points. Ian Henry has 5.5 sacks, while Caleb Allen has 4 interceptions. The winner claims the South Division title in the Ohio Heritage Conference. Our final game is the First Star Logistics Game of the Week, Mason at Lakota West. You have to go back to 2013 when Lakota West last took a share of the Greater Miami Conference. The Firebirds are in the driver's seat as they get set to host Mason. A win, and Tom Bolden would see his team claim a share of the GMC title with Princeton if the Vikings beat Fairfield. If Mason pulls off the win and Princeton wins, the Comets and Vikings will finish with 5 wins in the conference and share the title. Mason has seen junior quarterback Michael Monar provide a dual threat with 3 passing touchdowns and 4 rushing scores. Senior running back Nolan McCormick has taken advantage of Kentucky offensive line pledge Paul Rodriguez opening up running lanes and leads the Comets with 479 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Bolden has made a significant change with his offense as the Firebirds have more receiving touchdowns than rushing touchdowns this season. Sophomore quarterback Mitch Bolden continues to grow his game behind junior offensive lineman Tigre Tashabola, an Ohio State pledge. Receivers Caleb Rayo, Trent Lloyd, and Adrian Davis have combined for 381 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Like in most of our games this week, both teams have played great defense, with the Firebirds giving up an average of 5 points a game, and Mason giving up 14 in one more game played than the Firebirds. The Firebirds have been strong against the run and pass, and we mean shut down strong. In 4 games, Bolden has seen his defense give up 20 points total and an average of 151 total yards per game. Jackson Kuwach leads the defense with 29 total tackles. And while teams have stayed away from challenging Ohio State pledge J.R. Brown, it's allowed another top junior prospect, Alex Afari, to add 2 interceptions, including one he returned for a 30-yard touchdown. Usually, you would praise how Mason has played defense this season as they've given up only 70 total points in 5 games and an average of 233 yards a game. But compared to Lakota West, some would wonder if the Comets have a chance. Trust me, they do. Cameron Ashurst and Caden Evans are leading the team in tackles with a combined 58 stops. Defensive lineman Jackson Orlando has 20 stops and 2.5 sacks, with defensive back Brady Camello having 3 interceptions. Because of the talent in this game, we've made this our First Star Logistics Game of the Week. There you have it. 6 games we expect to be exciting to watch in the final week of the COVID-19 shortened regular season. Before you go, please do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to visit firststarfootballreport.com for player interviews and a look at the upcoming playoffs.